Hello and welcome to SnowRunner. And we're gonna start electric gas atmosphere by delivering one load of oversized cargo and not do what I did the first time I did, which was take it up this way, and then I ended up rolling the trailer on a rock and putting the container in an awkward position. So we're actually gonna take an alternate path that's also kind of more of a straight path that will lead us out right here at the garage, and that way we can just go straight there. And we got the 6605R because, frankly, I just didn't feel like messing with any of the mud. And I wanted this also to be one of the contracts where it's like, okay, here's how you do this, and you'll probably have this truck if you're doing this contract. So I figured it made sense to do this. Haven't made up my mind, but I think I'm going to make turn metal rolls into metal beams on Erskine River. I don't necessarily think it's worth coming back here to get 3 metal beams to go to Erskine River. We just kind of don't have a choice with the shipping container because this is where you pick it up for. So that's why we're doing it this way. I'm going to go slightly to the side here because I don't want the trailer to self-unload. Okay, I was not expecting the Zig 605R to struggle doing this. I have the middle engine, but wow, this mud must be deep. I bet it's probably that those ice shards are jamming under the trailer, and that's what's partially causing the problem here, because this should not be this much of a struggle. Either that or the trailer's catching on the edge of the hill, so I just need to go more to the right. See if that helps. But yeah, I wasn't expecting this. Alright, I'll kind of admit it. There may be something said for taking the way I did the first time and just risking the container self-unloading, but the main reason I wanted to take this route was to avoid that. Also, I kind of forgot that this stretch actually had deep snow. I thought it was actually relatively solid and I wouldn't have to worry about a problem until I got a little further up here where there's some mud that can even give the Tuz some issues. So, I didn't remember that the path was going to be like this, but I guess we're committed to it now. And so here we go. Let's see if it's showing on. Okay, because yeah, down in this area is a Zix 5368 and one of the trailers you need to deliver for Strategic Reserve, and then there's a cut through the trees, but it's got like some super mud pit of doom mud we're going to have to deal with. And honestly, I may have to do a fuel rescue, but I have vehicles to do that. The original hope was that I had enough fuel to reach the gas station on Erska River. And I may have actually had enough if I had topped off the tank before I left the garage, but I didn't think to do that. So that's why I'm in the situation I am now. And we may need a fuel rescue. So we'll see how it turns out. Let's see if I can see it. It's been a while since I used this road, so I'm partially bringing the map up often to show you where I'm going, and partially also trying to figure out myself where I'm going. Because, honestly, I want to say it's somewhere in this area, but I don't remember. Which is going to make this very interesting, so I think I'm going to go along the shoreline here, instead of getting myself tangled up in the trees until I find that spot where we're supposed to cross through the forest. And here we are. This is the patch of area I was saying that gave the Tuz problem when I came through here. And it looks like we'll just barely get to the end of it before I run out of fuel. And there's one of the trailers for strategic reserve. Don't worry, the truck's not connected and actually needs to go to a different spot. And we're back. We watched Unlocking the Elephant Part 2. That issue with the disconnecting of the cord got so bad that I just couldn't play, and I finally got a new cord, and that's why this episode's coming out this weekend instead of last Monday, which is what I had originally intended. Off camera, I brought fuel by just basically getting it from the Tega, and I drove down this road, came here, and then rolled it trying to go down here. So I had to bring the F-750 and go down where I should have, which was right here. Or you could potentially go down right here. Because this road is not what I thought it was. I was actually thinking of this road. This is the road I thought I was going to use to get here with the R86. And then as you can see, I just kind of headed up, because if you can get this point for the side cast picturesque, every other place you're pretty much going to drive by at some point. And I thought, oh, I'll just go down this way. Because of the F7's long wheelbase, I actually got stuck on this ridge and started rolling down here. What I should have done was tried to go up and around, and then you can just come down right here. But as you can see, that didn't happen. Fortunately, I was able to back up a little to get the truck starting to point downhill. It was caught by two trees, but was upwards, and then I got it free by pulling it around one of the other trees with the winch. And I'm like, yeah, before I go the rest of the way down here, I probably should wait until some light. So, anyway, and I got the yard, I just parked it out of the way here. And now we can continue our delivery with this. I was originally thinking about this being a two-parter, but I didn't know how long the second part was going to be, and I thought, well, if it's over relatively faster once I'm done cutting it up, it may just be better to have a one-part long-term video. That's kind of the other reason I was waiting. So anyway, we've got our Zig 605R doing a job that, well, not a lot of other trucks can do in this game, that's for sure. And so, it's kind of an easy job. That truck needs to be taken over to the farm, where I knew this area was bad, but I didn't think it was Swallow a Dan 96 320 bad. But yes, that's exactly what happened right here, even though I have 51 inch, I believe, off-roads on it. Yeah, this area is a little more crazy than I thought it was. I was coming over here to pick up 3 wooden planks so I could come down here and do this little bridge that I haven't discovered the task for yet. But yeah, that didn't happen, so I'm going to have to mount a rescue attempt at some point. So yeah, I don't remember everything. This area looks a little scary, but by this region standard, it isn't too much of a scary thing. And so, we should be able to get it through just fine with the 6. I basically just put 120 liters in here for the little frac on the yard, so the yard still has plenty of fuel to do other things. And this should hopefully get us to the fuel station on Erskine River, where we can actually fill the tank completely up. Thank you for watching.